Good morning. Welcome to another ASMR at 5. Even though I got up at 4 o'clock today, got some work done already, even before I press record. Let's talk about blind spots. Oh, that first sip of coffee is always amazing, isn't it? Loving it. Percolator today. Blind spots. You know, when you're driving, you're in the driver's seat, you have your rear view mirror in front of you, side view mirrors on each side. And yet there's times when you go to change a lane and then you'll see a car there. And then you get back into your lane and you're like, whoa, I didn't even see them. Or that might have happened to you. And what happens is that person, that car, was in your blind spot. And those of you who ride motorcycles, you know that when you're in traffic, to stay far enough behind so the person can see you in their mirrors. You never drive like off of the rear corner of someone else's car if you're on a motorcycle, because you are in their blind spot. A blind spot is something that you can't see, but other people can. And I had a great Skype call with Richard Cooper, who I would highly recommend getting to know. He has a YouTube channel called Entrepreneurs in Cars that I think you'll like. And he's into cars and high performance, and he does a lot of interesting coaching. He's a business owner, somebody that I respect. Much younger than me, but displays wisdom and insight of a man who is much older. And we were talking about certain things that he saw in my branding and how I present myself on social media. Now, we got together at the conference in Orlando. I got to know him. I knew him through his YouTube channel, and then we were both invited to speak at this 21 convention. And we had a lot of chats at the convention, and mutual respect, and a nice, what I would call a nice respectful friendship. And I follow him, he follows me. And I made a comment the other day about coaching for myself. And because I do coaching with people to help them get unstuck. But I'm not able to get you to the other galaxy after you get unstuck. That's not my forte. My training and my experience is in helping people get out of tight spots. And I was looking for a coach to help me get to the next level financially for my life. And I've always said, if people aren't laughing at your goals, then they're not big enough. They need to be something you actually stretch for and work for. And one of the things that I found out is that if I view myself only through my eyes, then I'm limiting myself. And I want to go to the next level. And I'm so much further ahead now than I was last year, and I've shared a lot of this journey with you. And Richard said, let's talk. So we did a Skype call, and for lack of a better term, I'm going to call it a blind spot session, where He, as a mutual follower, fellow content creator, observed things in me that he mirrored to me that were game changers. He showed me some things that were in my blind spot. You know, the blind spot where you can't, like when you go to change lanes when you're driving and you go, oh my gosh, I didn't see that car. Well, you looked in your mirrors. You didn't see anything, so you went to change lanes, but there was a car there. That was in your blind spot. When you are riding motorcycles, you make sure to never ride behind a vehicle in their blind spot, because if they just tap you, you're done when you're driving, at 60 miles an hour. One of the best ways to move ahead in life and get unstuck after you've been unstuck. Because remember, I used to say this last year all the time: beware of ruts, because ruts can be 10 years long. Richard showed me some things that were in my blind spot. Things that were obvious to him that weren't obvious to me. And what was fascinating was, for the rest of the day after that Skype call, that's all I kept thinking about. It's almost as if I had a blindfold on, and he just ripped that blindfold off. That's what a good coach does. Helps you see things, because he sees things that you're not going to see, he or she. Now, a good coach is not going to do the work for you. You have to do the work once that stuff is exposed to you. And me, you're listening to this coming from a guy that has a library that wraps around me. Okay, 3 walls up to the ceiling of books, who has read voraciously, who has continuing ed, who is on top of things. And yet he showed me some things that were so simple, but simple things that when changed and leveraged can have a huge effect in my life. Who do you have in your life? And I want to ask you this: who do you have in your life who can identify the blind spots and not just nitpick? If you got someone who's just like blind spotting you, that doesn't help, does it? Because it just seems like they're being critical. Who do you have in your life that can help you identify the blind spots and take it one step further, help you act on those? That's what that Skype call did for me. It was powerful, powerful. And I believe the information that I gained in that call, if leveraged properly, is going to be a massive game changer for me in 2018. Massive. So may I suggest to you that a good coach, I'm not talking about a counselor for your feelings. We've had a century of therapists, counselors, social workers, psychologists, psychotherapists, all this stuff, of which I was for 22 years. That's what my master's degree is in. And I did it for 22 years. And I worked with people who never got better. Just chronically in trouble, chronically, their life just never changed. It was almost like maintenance. So maybe that was a good thing. But I'm glad I got out of it. So glad I got out of it and just went back into hair full time. But let me tell you this. This is super important. 100 years of counselors and psychiatrists everywhere. Every university, every college is pumping out grads in psych, counseling, all social work, all that kind of stuff. And let me ask you this, has society gotten any better as a result of it? Are people more successful? Let me tell you this, are those graduates any more successful? Now, I know a few. I have some clients that are psychotherapists and psychologists, powerful people. And when you listen to them, the insight that they have. But that's only a few. And believe me, in a former life, that's all I hung out with, was people in that field. And then along comes somebody who's been there, who has the credentials, and not just academic, but the insight and the wisdom and the experience and the track record. And they zero in. Not on your feelings and how you feel about 2 + 2 = 4. I'm talking about people who zero in on the facts. That's what you need. That's what I needed. Last year I got into stoicism and detachment because I felt like emotions were just a huge detractor for me, and that everything had to be connected to emotions, and that when I stopped relating to everything on an emotional level, all of a sudden my life got better. It was amazing. For many years, and I'm talking 15 years ago, there was a little bit of a roller coaster thing going on. And I will tell you, if you want to get off the roller coaster, talk to somebody on a regular basis who's going to speak only about the facts, not emotions. I'm not talking counseling or psychotherapy. Someone who's going to zero in on your blind spots and help you reach your goals. It's so important. What blind spots do you have? What are the excuses that you might not even know what excuses you're giving, because it's such a normal thing for you to make excuses for yourself or for your children or for other people. That's a hard lesson to learn. And years can fly by if you don't do something about it. Years. So the word for today is blind spot. Blind spot. What are areas in your life that you cannot see that others have pointed out? And is there a possibility that your stuckness is a result of your blind spots? That's something to think about. That was life-changing for me this week. As a professional, as a successful man who has a great track record, who has a really good life and is helping others on a regular basis, I had blind spots that were identified, pointed out to me. And now it's up to me to do something with that information and leverage it. And like I said, 2018 is going to be crazy as a result of this. It's literally like a blindfold was taken off my eyes. Something to think about. I hope you have a great day today. Be excellent in all you do. See you soon. Thanks.